I'm built to endure, rooted within her, rooted within her, healed and whole, now I'm stronger for sure. Yeah. She got that truth that'll lift you up. Mindset shifted, yeah, we leveling up. From broken to bold, from tired to lit. Brittany Brown got you rooted in. Yeah. Rooted within her, rooted within her. Faith, fitness, focus, yeah, I'm built to endure. Rooted within her, rooted within her. Peace in my heart and my purpose secure. Rooted within her, rooted within her. Faith, fitness, focus, yeah, I'm built to endure. Yeah, I'm built to endure. Peace in my heart and my purpose secure.
Rooted within her, Brittany Brown. Jingle title.
Thanks for tuning in to Rooted Within Her, your go-to podcast where we're going to be talking about faith, fitness, and having a focused mindset. I am Brittany Brown. I am a veteran, author, mental health therapist, and relationship coach. And I help divorced women break unhealthy relationship cycles, heal their emotional wounds, and rebuild their identity so they can date God's way. So join us daily as we're going to be talking about faith and fitness and having a focused mindset, where you can join our free community so you can have so many resources to help you so you can heal, rebuild, and date God's way. So make sure you grab your notebook, relax, so we can focus on breaking the cycle within and focus on building a better you, because you deserve the best that life has to offer. Be blessed. Welcome. I'm so excited for you guys to be joining us today. We have a very special guest, and her name is Cassandra Hill. Hello, Cassandra. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me, Brittany. I appreciate it.
You are so welcome. So today you have joined our amazing podcast, Rooted Within Her, where we get to help women heal, rebuild, and learn how to date God's way with faith, clarity, and confidence. Tell us, what is it in your own personal journey that has led you to saying, like, hey, I want to share what God has gifted me with others?
You know, I think it's one of those things where God just tells you, okay, this is your assignment, right? And and that's kind of how it worked out for me. I found myself experiencing life, going through having challenges with my health, unfortunately having a miscarriage, and just dealing with so many different things. And in the midst of dealing with that, healing through that, God told me, like, okay, Cassandra, once you're healed, your life is going to change. And so that was the calling for me to, like, once I got to a place where I was healed, and of course, healing is ongoing, it's a process. But once I got to a place where I was healed enough, it was like, this is your assignment. There's so many other women who've been where you were, neglecting themselves, their well-being, whether it's for a career, a significant other. And it's time for us to open up and talk about loving ourselves, unapologetically loving ourselves. And so that this is my God-given assignment.
I love that. So tell our listeners all about you, Cassandra. Who are you? What it is that you do? What makes you you?
Oh, y'all. If you're watching this video, you'll see underneath my name, Transformation Agent for Black Women. And in doing this work as a master life coach, I'm also certified in women's entrepreneurship. My purpose is to empower women, but particularly Black women, to our emotional and mental well-being. And we already know many of us are starting businesses in record numbers. That probably will grow even more this year. And so just making sure we have that financial stability in our business, because sisters, let me tell you, it's possible to have a stable, financially sound business and you have well-being in your life as well. And so I help women in achieving that. And additionally, I am a speaker and author. And so it's such a delight to get on stage, whether it's virtual or in person, and share thoughts, expertise to hopefully shift. Most of the time when I'm booked for an event, it is women focused, right? But sometimes I speak to everybody, okay? And I'm normally speaking on entrepreneurship, emotional mental well-being, inspiration, and those are the same things I write on as well.
I love that so much. I heard you when you first started talking, you talked about, going through a miscarriage, and you talked about, really understanding your assignment. So we might have some listeners today who have gone through a miscarriage. What would you say that experience was like for you, and what helped you to really push forward and to be that positive agent that you are today in carrying
Yeah.
out your assignment?
Yeah. For any woman who's listening right now and has experienced a miscarriage, we do know that's something that unfortunately affects Black women at a higher rate than other ethnic groups. Sister, I want you to know that that happened to you, but that's not you.
Mm,
You're so much more than that. Your identity as a woman is not predicated on having a child. You know, you can be, and now I look at my life all these years later, I don't have a biological child. I have some waiting for me in heaven, but having a biological child, whether you have one or you don't, that doesn't make you any more or less than a woman.
mm,
That's one thing I want to share to anyone who has experienced that. And also, I want to say, because I know for me, when I was going through it was hard. I'm gonna be honest, it was hard, and I thought I was about to lose my mind. And I'm like, God, I'm gonna need your help to get me through. And so when you pray that and you ask God for that, He will give you what you need. Because
mhm,
during that time, I found myself every day, a scripture would be revealed to me. I would write that
mhm.
scripture down, write my thoughts about it. And believe it or not, Brittany, I did that for so long, had so much writings that those writings eventually ended up becoming my first book, a devotional. Had no idea. So you just never know why God has you doing
Mhm.
what you're doing. Because I had no earthly, those writings set for years, 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 years.
Mhm.
I just so happened to be speaking at an event with Ayana Van Zant. Everybody named Mama came out because it's Ayana, right? So
Mhm.
there was a publishing company there, had a conversation with me, and they asked, "Hey, had you ever thought about being a writer, author?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's on my bucket list, but had they asked for a writing sample, and for some reason, it popped in my mind.
There you go.
I had wrote. I'm like, because that's a lot of writing. That's enough sample. And submitted it, and they was like, "No, this is not a sample. This is a book." So you do not know how God will use you, because if somebody had a told me at one of the lowest times of my life that would birth something special, something that's helping other
Mhm.
women. It may be a woman who hadn't had a miscarriage, just dealing with the challenges of life, to know that, because the devotional, as life would have it, is the name of it is He Restoreth My Soul, Triumph Through Adversity.
Mm,
So whatever challenge you've done in or you've experienced in this life, you can overcome. If
mhm.
someone had told me that would birth from me just sitting,
You'd be like, "No
yeah,
way." Like, "Me? Me?"
yeah, I would be like, no way, just no way.
So
So
tell us, when you were a child, did you ever imagine that you would be the person that you are today? Or is it one of those things where you look back and you're like, man, now I see every situation that I've gone through, God was really preparing me for this very moment right here?
yeah, never would have dreamed. Honestly, growing up as a kid, I wanted to have an education. That's something I'm like, okay, I want different for my life. So I had planned on going to college, and honestly, I thought I would work in corporate until I retired. I never thought about entrepreneurship. Didn't, yeah. But what's so crazy though, Brittany, my grandmother saw something in me that I did not see in myself. And one thing she would always do, because I've always loved to read, always been a reader and writer my whole, even as a kid. And my grandmother would get all these magazines. I'm a kid. I'm reading Essence. I'm reading Black Enterprise. All these
Yeah, all
magazines.
of them.
and and as I got older, I thought, why does grandma get me these entrepreneur magazines? I'm like, I'm going to college and I'm just going to do corporate. But I think she saw something in me and was planting that seed for what I'm doing now, being a full time entrepreneur. But
And
I didn't see it.
they do see that. That reminds me of a time, when I was, talking to my grandmother. She's no longer here on earth, but amazing woman, amazing woman. And she talked to me. I was asking her, I said, I don't know. Like, I really don't know, like, what I want to major in when I go to college and what that looks like, once I graduate high school, etc. And I was just going through the list of all these different careers because that's what they, teach you in school. They really don't talk to you about being an entrepreneur, being able to start your own. And I was telling her, I said, well, maybe I want to be a dentist or something like that. And she was like, no, be an entrepreneur. And I was like, okay. But at that age, I didn't know what all that entailed. And we don't realize how, that older generation, they're already speaking into existence. Because I'm like, now as I am doing those things, I'm like, okay, this is in honor of, God first and foremost. But knowing that my grandmother instilled that in me. And then as I've studied more and more the generation of my family tribe, like of understanding, like it doesn't start with us, their mindset, their sacrifices, everything they did to pave the way for us and our families. And you cannot have anything great in life without going through those different trials and tribulations. And so we know, as being an author myself, it's not easy to write a book. It's not easy. So what are some obstacles you went through in your journey of, writing your books and being that speaker? Because it's not easy when you stand on stage. I know there was a time I used to tell people I would never speak in front of people. But I tell you one thing, after having taught in the classroom, if you can speak in front of kids, you can speak in front of anybody, And they get you right because they'll tell you, like, why is your hair like that? Why your clothes that don't even match? Like, what are you doing? All of the things, right? And so what is it that you would say were some of your obstacles that you went through? And what has prepared you to be an amazing author and be a speaker and to accept your assignment?
Yeah. When I think about the speaker part of me, because I get asked this a lot, people come and it's like, hey, I want to be a speaker too. Can you give me some insights? Be willing to invest in yourself, y'all. If you're submitting speaker proposals to any entity, corporations, professional organizations, and you expect for them to invest in you, be willing to invest in yourself. So for me, it looked like going through various programs, whether it was Les Brown, took some things with Lisa Nichols, that sort of thing, me being willing to invest in myself and being comfortable being uncomfortable, right? Because like you said, speaking's not an easy thing, getting on stage, sharing your expertise, even when it's things all eyes on you sort of thing. So for me, it looked like practice, I remember at one time I was doing lives like almost every day, practice,
Right.
you know? So things like that, um, just speaker development to help you, taking time to prepare presentations. You don't wait till, a lot of times we dream is like, hey, I want to speak at Essence Fest. And you think you're going to wait for them to call you and then no, the work starts. Like if that's something you're serious about doing, it takes time. You want to start working on that right now. You want to start preparing for that now. And I think that's what we miss. We just want the limelight, right, without the work on the back end. So that's one thing that for the people who know me know I do so much work on the back end to where, being prepared. And I think for the writing part of me, the challenges, as I mentioned, been writing my whole life. My mother is an educator, so learned how to read very young, and even as a kid, when I would read, I would write about, just do like a book review, basically, of what I read. So, been writing forever, but in this capacity, to where the world is seeing it, one of the things that was a challenge was just being comfortable sharing my thoughts, regardless of how other people felt about it. Because you already know, Brittany, people always got something to say.
Every time, whether they know something about it or not, people always run their mouth.
Yeah. So that was an adjustment because, working in corporate, I do my job, I come home, nobody's saying, well, like, I don't like how you look. I don't like that hairstyle. I don't, people just
The mouth.
got something to say. So,
Does my hair affect you? No, it doesn't.
thank you. It does not. So that was an adjustment for me. But like now, I'm so thankful I've been delivered from. I just don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I don't allow what other people think or say to determine my actions because I'm aligned with God.
So, but what would you say helped you to get there? Because that's something that, our listeners might be struggling with, taking
Yeah.
on with the weight of what other people say.
Yeah.
Especially when we think about, as a mental health therapist, I do a lot of work with dealing with going back to your childhood. And people don't realize, like, a lot of what you have encountered and endured as a child paves the way for your thinking and for how you perceive things and how you receive things. And so, what would you say helped you to get to a place where you're like, hey, I don't care. God's already given me my assignment. I don't need your approval. Like, either you with me or you against me.
That's it. And that's all. One thing that helped, I have these things, I call them board meetings with God. And so in that time, I'm still. And this is something I actually started doing during the pandemic. And so I take the time and I do my meditation and pray. But after that, I'm still for at least 30 minutes, sometimes longer. And in that stillness, I feel God, it might not be that day or the next day, but eventually I get clarity on what he wants me to do. And once I get that clarity, it just makes it so much easier. But doing that consistently was a game changer for me.
And I'm so glad you said that because I talk to a lot of my clients about being spiritually connected, and that's important. You have to be still. I say, how many times are you quiet? How many times are you actually still? And a lot of times they laugh at me because they're like, there's so much to do. Yes, there is, but there's also so much you won't be able to do if you don't take the time to really be still. And that's where the enemy fights us at the most. And that's where he gets us, by keeping us so busy. Because when you're busy, your mind is cluttered. You can't think straight. You don't know if you're going to the left or to the right. Because yes, after COVID, more people have been working from home, but it actually added more to our plates. We're doing Zoom meetings, we're trying to cook dinner, we're doing homework, we're doing all the things, balancing the kids, and we're also trying to work a job. And for some people, they're working 3 and 4 jobs. So it's so much, and we do have to be quiet. We do have to listen to God, because my thing is, who wants a one-way, communication conversation, right? So people don't think about that. God don't want us always coming to him about this and that and that and that. We have to take the time to listen. And whenever I put it in terms of, if you're having a conversation and which you want to be the only person talking and they say nothing, or vice versa, and you can't say anything, and then people are like, oh yeah, that is different. I don't want to, live like that. So we have to change up some things. But one thing I heard you say is you have a routine. Like, this is your routine. This is something that you do. And I bet the days you don't do it, you feel off.
Yeah. It's like anything else. You do it long enough. And you guys, you might be thinking, oh, I don't know. I would say anywhere between 2 weeks to 3 weeks, you're doing it. I promise you. Past that, it's part of your lifestyle.
Right. Literally. But if you think about it, it takes 21 days to build a habit, right? And so it's the same thing. So yeah. Okay, so let's look at it this way. When we think about who you are and what you're doing and the change that you're making, someone might be listening today and say, hey, I really need to work with Cassandra. So what does that look like? Tell our listeners, how can they connect with you? But also tell them, what would that look like to actually work with you?
Yeah, the easiest way for you guys to connect with me is through my Linktree Healer Cassandra. But when you work with me, it is a transformation. You're gonna walk away a different person. For those who are entrepreneurs, we are gonna focus on your business. We're gonna look at your systems. We're gonna figure out what's working, what's not working, and you'll get a strategy to propel you forward. I'm really fortunate. I have relationships with some major corporations. So whether you're needing funding for your business, we can get that for you. If you're a speaker looking to get on more stages, I can help you with that as well. But we're going to hopefully get that revenue up, right? And then in regard to your well-being, your emotional and mental well-being, just being intentional on ways to practice self-love on a daily basis. Because what I found, especially for Black women, we tend to focus so much on other people, spouse, kids, work, all the things that we don't take time out for ourselves. And most of the time, that's an indicator of the lack of love that we have for ourselves. And so we work a lot on that, loving yourself, knowing your worth. Because when you really love something, you cherish it, right?
That's right.
Yeah. And so right now, to work with me, this year, I'm being more intentional on speaking more. In past years as a speaker, I did it more part-time, but this year, full-time endeavor. And so I still am coaching, but I'm doing that through my Substack community. And so when you become part of my Substack community as an annual member, you'll get that initial life coaching session. And then from there, we have monthly Q&As.
I love that. So many ways for people to really connect with you and actually partner up and change your life if they really want to change their life. So I love that. So as we come to a close, what is your favorite quote or scripture or something you would love to leave with our listeners today, just to keep them inspired and knowing that, you know, where you are today doesn't mean that you're going to always be here, and just understanding that your past does not define who you are and who you shall become.
Yeah. I'll leave you guys with a quote from one of my favorites, the late great Maya Angelou. We admire the beauty of the butterfly, but we rarely admit the changes it undertook to achieve that beauty. And I want to remind you that you might not be that butterfly yet, but you're going through that transformation. Just like the butterfly had to be a caterpillar, it had to go through some stages before it became that beautiful butterfly. That's you.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Cassandra, for being an amazing guest on our episode. And we look forward to definitely having you back on for more.
Thanks so much, Brittany. And thank you guys and ladies for tuning in. And I pray that you stay blessed and know that the best is yet to come.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm built to endure, rooted within her, healed and whole, now I'm stronger for sure. Yeah. She got that truth that'll lift you up. Mindset shifted, yeah, we leveling up. From broken to bold, from tired to lit. Brittany Brown got you rooted in. Yeah. Rooted within her, faith, fitness, focus, yeah, I'm built to endure.